The Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans, by fans. With your host, Jesse Martin.
What are you talking about? You're out of your mind.
John Taylor.
We finally got professional football back. This is going to be fun.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Max Taylor.
As long as you got Jaden Daniels, you got a chance to win.
Spanning the eras of Washington football. Honoring the past. Commanding the future. And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taylor.
Hey, everybody, this is John Taman. I'm sitting here in the frozen eastern half of the United States, feeling pretty good about things in some ways and feeling pretty bad about things in other ways, as I'm sure most of you are here on this Friday evening. Look, man, some of us are getting ready for some big bad storms, like Jesse. Look at him. He's looking like a fucking cobra with all of his gear on. Right now, I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm relieved. I'm pissed. I'm slightly bothered. I'm mildly amused. I'm itchy. And I'm just more than a little bit horny. And for more on that, here's our good friend from Southeastern Virginia, Jesse Martin, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Jesse? How you doing? Let me find your music. Where are you? Oh, Jesus Christ, I should have been ready. There we go. There he is. Hey. There you go. Now, Jesse is coming to us from West Virginia. I almost said South Virginia, but no, West Virginia. Oh, wait. Hey. Thanks, Jesse. Welcome. There you are. All right. So he walks out again. West Virginia, where obviously nobody's allowed to put anything on the walls. Man, it's cold out there.
It is cold. Fucking cold out here.
I love your high-vis bits on the side of that hat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
That is
I saw that at a
council work.
I was going to say, health and safety would be quite happy with that, wouldn't they?
What time are you picking the bins up?
No, I found a truck stop on the way up here, so I was like, you know what? That would work. It was fucking cold, minus like 20 wind chill tonight. So, yeah.
What's that in our world?
Right, so you're in West Virginia right now. So are you high in the mountains or are you down in the valleys? Where are you about?
I am in the Harper's Ferry region of West Virginia. So it's nice kind of it is. I'm in the valley part of it, but I mean there's mountains just all surrounding it.
Yeah,
Tony, that's minus 29 in our world.
That's a bit chilly, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit.
I went for a run in a t-shirt today. It was 8 degrees.
So about 40 in their world. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I think it was 42 degrees Fahrenheit here today. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Pleasant.
Well, it's average this week here at roughly about 22 degrees, and Jesse's out in West Virginia, which is out in the mountains. But dude, you might as well stay there. From what I see, it's going to be worse where you live out near the coast. I didn't even see what that was. But
it says it was Commander Bunker saying Tony's on. This will be good.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, I'm going. I got to go back home tomorrow morning for a couple days because.
Look, man, we got to pay the bills. Somebody just complimented Tony, and Tony brings the sex appeal to the show. So.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was a genuine. I'm not sure if it was a genuine compliment or sarcasm. I'll take it as a compliment, thank you. But if it was sarcasm,
we'll sell it as best we can. Right? All right. Yeah. That's the way it goes. Anyway,
thank you. I'll take all compliments.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how it works, Jesse. You're out in a place where it usually is just a freaking hellacious nastiness of weather, and where you live is going to be
there's still about 1.5 feet of snow on the ground out here, and then I'm going home. So a big, they're calling it a bomb cyclone. I need to get home and make sure my house is all right during that storm.
I think that they make up names that are just way too freaking dramatic. A bomb cyclone sounds terrible.
Bomb cyclone, nor'easter.
Gonna fucking snow.
We'll have blizzard conditions.
I heard the word snow-a-cane this week.
Snow-a-cane, yeah. I mean that's. Yeah. It is going to miss y'all. It's going to miss it's going to miss the Maryland region, and usually DC and from Richmond down is where the issues are going to occur. And I live below Richmond, so well below Richmond. So.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Bleeding Burgundy podcast weather forecast for the South Mid-Atlantic United States of America. I don't know whether it's going to miss us or not, but I know that if it tracks a little bit north, when it comes up like that, we get hammered. Welcome to Commander Bunker. What is that? Is that Andy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy. Snow-a-Cane sounds sounds like him in the 90s. I get it there. That's fine. Speaking of people that are, look, I'm not gonna go too far into this, but right now I just want to welcome you to our good friend from the Royal Port of Barrow, Scott Hawkins. Now, Scott, I know I'm not supposed to say anything, but look, it's exciting. It's something that's unusual for me in my life to be this close to certain power, but. This week, while we were all buried under snow and ice, you were named the head of MI6. Let me go ahead and just offer you.
cheers for burning me there. Yeah, I've been watching too much Homeland, John. That's what it is. Yeah.
Hey, look, I get it. You got to downplay it. It didn't really happen. I get it. You know, you're just running that convenience store in the Royal Port of Barrow. But hey, man, I'm glad.
Just got to take a phone call.
Well deserved.
Just take him out. Yeah, just take him out. Yeah, thanks.
Right,
sorry about that.
Yeah. You got the shot. Just take him out.
That's right. You got the shot. The good news is that there's so much ice around, no slip coming up to my house. Speaking of people slipping coming up to my house, there's my good friend Tony Wheat down there. Tony, he's like he's in the isolation booth.
Yeah, I got the call so late tonight, John, that I wasn't even able to put my terrible background up. So
you weren't able to hang up your jersey.
I couldn't get my 5 jerseys out
of the closet in time.
The closet because there's things over the closet, and I was like, oh fuck it, I can't be bothered. And I'm even less prepared than usual, which is saying something. So we'll see how it goes.
No, I love it, man. We're just look. If you're new to this show, please, if you're over on social media. Come on in to YouTube. Go ahead and talk to us over here on social media. Scott will talk to you. Jesse will talk to you. Tony would talk to you if he could, but he can't, so he won't. But we will talk to you on Tony's behalf. Look, if you're new to us, we're just fans. We're just here to talk football, and it doesn't matter really how much the conversation goes one way or the other. There's really not a whole lot of structure. But coming up, we've got new coordinators. The coaching staff is starting to take shape, I think. We've got snubs. We've got drubs. We've got Scott. Scott, you've got a list that I'm sure was part of your 12-year-old wet dream. Oh my gosh. We're going to recap the championship games. We're going to look at some Super Bowl stuff and a whole lot of other crap, but let's jump right into the Commanders' big news of the week. Daronte Jones is our new defensive coordinator from the Vikings staff. Jesse, we'll start with you because I know that you were not happy.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's just another fucking shot in the dark, man. I think this is a move that a guy, maybe he had a good interview and maybe they were just maybe they were just like, you know what, we got to hire somebody.
Okay, this
doesn't do anything for me whatsoever.
No,
at all. This does not move the needle in a good place whatsoever. I think this is just another Joe Witt type of hire. No experience other than 1 year at LSU calling plays, which the defense was bad anyways. So,
okay, Scotty, what do you think?
I'm quite excited by this hire, actually, and to be honest, I think it is a shot in the dark. I completely agree where Jesse's coming from and his point of view, but I think it's brave. I think it's a brave call and a brave decision by Dan Quinn and Adam Peters, because if you weren't already seemingly all in, chips in the middle of the table, he definitely is now, especially with 2 rookie coordinators. And no play calling experience on either side. I mean, I'm enthused by what I hear from others in the media, whether that's overhyped or not overhyped. Things like, he's He's there on blitzes. He's putting blitzes into the package for Flores, and some of the names that he's learnt under, your Vance Josephs of the world, them sort of people, even Zimmer, for example. Mike Zimmer didn't have a bad defense. Let's be honest, at Minnesota, and the way that he's developed players as well, especially DBs, that's got to be good for us. But what has to happen with this hire for it to be a success is AP needs to get his hand in his pocket and put talent around him. Because if he doesn't put talent around him, it isn't going to work. And to be honest, I probably think Jesse's right in some ways, that people have looked at this and gone, what talent is there in this team? Am I willing to stake my neck on this? But everybody needs a shot. Everybody needs a shot at some point, or else nobody would ever be the next big thing that comes out of anywhere.
All right. I had a thought about that, Tony, but then I noticed how bad everybody looked on the phone view, and I forgot what the hell it was. So why don't you go ahead and grab it wherever you want and go with it wherever you want with that, because I kind of like the hire of Daronte Jones. I like the hire of David Blau. This is where I was going with it. All in. I think all coaches should be all in all the time. What do you think, starting at that point with these hires? Where are you going with that?
I kind of almost go on with what sort of Scott was saying, and I agree with elements of what Jesse said. I'm kind of in sort of wait and see mode on it. I'm not overwhelmed by it. I'm not underwhelmed by it. I think that they've clearly now reached a point where, with the appointments that they've made, as Scott said, that they are clearly taking a risk. They've not gone for the safe options. They've not gone, and in some ways, I don't have a problem with that, because if the safe options were that good, would they be being offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators anyway?
Would they be available?
Right. So I don't necessarily agree that just because he's not one of these sort of safe names that he can't be any good. I'm not saying he is going to be any good, and I'll be honest with you, until 5 days ago, I didn't have a clue who he was.
Come on.
But my philosophy, and I've said it a couple of times now, is all big name, experienced coaches start off as small name, inexperienced coaches, and they have to have a break. Now the thing is, if you were doing that, but where the risk is, I think that Jesse's pointed to as a bigger picture thing, it'd probably be fine if you were doing that maybe with one side of the ball, but to do it on both sides of the ball is a massive risk, and it clearly is. Yeah. It clearly is all in, because if it goes wrong, they're probably all gone.
Why not?
Right?
Look, why not? Why play it safe?
Yesterday, they went and backed up the truck, or as the UK boys would say, the lorry, and unloaded a big crate of Huggies pull-ups for these young coaches. They're putting these diapers on for them.
What?
But Daronte Jones is 47. Daronte Jones is 47. He's not a young coach. He's inexperienced.
In terms that's what I mean. In terms of experience, okay.
Yeah.
These guys, like what upsets me about this whole thing is this is a fucking pivotal year for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
and it needs to be a good year for Jaden Daniels, not only for him, but for his tenure here. Because guess what? If this goes bad, you think he's going to want to fucking resign? If this goes too much over and over again, piss poor coordinators, when you got rid of the coordinator that he liked, and turnover, no, he's not going to want to stay here.
I tell you what, a quarterback like Jaden Daniels doesn't hit the market. Money talks, and regardless of whatever anybody want to say about that's way in the future, and they can throw enough money at him. By the time that comes along, it very well may be that there's a new agreement that says the quarterback earns X percent of the salary cap. But that's a whole different story. The fact is, when it comes to our coordinators, you're right. Everybody needs a break. Every big name started off as some no name somewhere. Look at the 1 Point Safety show. Before Scott got on this show, what was he? He was just some guy. Now the king has been to his town and has fucking dubbed him. And the 1 Point Safety show is the #1 watched Commanders podcast in all the United Kingdom. And look, I am still the one that thinks the United Kingdom goes beyond what it is today. It still extends around the globe, and I think that you can see the effect that comes when you give somebody a chance. David Blau, all right, we talked about this last time. David Blau is going to develop everything he develops based on some coordinators that are highly thought of around the league. I'm not even paying attention. Somebody's watching me and doing some shit. King Charles had a 10-pound note with Hartley on it. There you go. There's a joke that Jesse and I are just kind of scratching our heads with.
No, because on our money, as Jesse knows now, since he's been over this side of the pond, we have pictures. It used to be the Queen's head. Now has the king on the back of each of the banknotes. So what he's saying there is King Charles has one with my face on it.
I'm not surprised. I completely lost my train of thought there. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's quite all right. No, that
happens
that's
often. That happens. Everybody's used to it now.
All right,
Do you think then?
The point is with David Blau, the thing that gives me the biggest amount of excitement is the fact that what he's going to develop comes from a good couple of trees, and the only player he's worked with is Jaden. Now, Daronte Jones. We heard this with Joe Witt. Turnovers, right? When you look at what he's done, where he's been, it's been high in turnovers. It's been successful with what he's set out to do. Jesse, why doesn't this give you any buoyancy?
Because the same thing with Joe Witt. I mean, we were expecting. Huh?
I'm just telling Scott, put that in the vocabulary book.
Mm-hmm. I've got it.
Thank you.
Because this is what we expected from Joe Witt. High turnover. I mean, ball is light.
Yeah, but we can't just say just because it didn't work for one, it's not going to work for another, and that's it. I mean,
right. I mean,
I'm not saying that it won't.
Does Brian Flores not factor into any of this?
Yes, he does. But I agree in some ways with what Jesse's saying. Is where do you give the credit? Do you give the credit to the pass game coordinator? Or do you give the credit to the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator? You're going to give it to Flores as the DC over there. But when I read what he's saying, you've got an aggressive, intangible. You've got blitz packages that are off the chart with Flores. You've got Mike Zimmer involved there. You've got Vance Joseph as well, who his tree comes from. You've got varying different splits and ways of things that can do. And when you're looking at these packages that he's putting in for blitzes, that to me says he's not just looking or going to be looking at what the corners are doing and what the DBs are doing, which has generally been his wheelhouse of where he has coached Daronte Jones if you look at his coaching career. But it isn't necessarily, I agree with what Jesse's saying in some ways, you can do whatever you want to do and put rookies in, you can put experienced heads in. This does not matter. What matters right now is who we get in, free agency, talent-wise, because we were talking about this yesterday and we've been talking about it for weeks. Talk to me now, what blue chip players do we genuinely have on this team? Genuinely. I would say we have two. And that is it. And that's Jaden Daniels and Terry. Nothing.
Defensive side of the ball, I would say nothing.
Terry ain't blue chip. Stop that.
Stop it.
Tunsil.
Dude. Tunsil, yeah, that's a good shout. Tunsil's a good shout.
Yeah, Tunsil's a top 5 left tackle.
Yeah, but we're talking about the defense here. We're talking about Daronte Jones and what he's going to be able to do, which, honestly, God...
So do you think that's why then, John? Do you think that's why like former head coaches or experienced DCs have looked at this and gone, it's not for me?
No, I don't know that we've made any offers to anybody.
I was going to say, do we know that's what happened?
We don't know. We don't know that, but I that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming because the fans and everybody around here, like you said, Tony, 5 days ago, you didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was. Until I heard he's having an interview, I didn't even know who the guy was. And Jesse clearly wants someone who's more experienced, and I understand why, because you're then not in the same situation as you were with Witt last year. But I think there's more. I think there's more belief in it. But as I said when we started this show, it's a brave move. It's a brave move.
I think you see a lot of Dunning-Kruger on the Dunning-Kruger effect in social media a lot. Mm-hmm. For one, no matter who is picked, somebody's going to say something. Somebody's going to bitch about something, and it's going to get picked up steam because other people are going to echo it, because failure is the easiest thing to predict in sports. it's the easiest thing to be right about because it happens 99% of the time. So to be able to say, we don't know who this guy is, and no offense, Jesse, but the fact is, just because we as fans don't know what they knew, I asked this question, and I'm not going to say sources or anything like that, but people that actually talk to people got back to me and said that they were blown away by what they found in his interview, because he was the last interview. He interviewed last weekend, and then all of a sudden he was our defensive coordinator, I think Tuesday. I said last week, depending on what happened last weekend, I thought Carl Scott was the big pick, but we would find out right after that. Apparently he blew them away, and that to me gives me even more happiness about it, because if that blew them away, I'm much happier than that, because like you were saying, Scott, there's all kinds of freaking the fans go crazy. Last week, nobody wanted to be here. Nobody wants to be in this shit show of it's a garbage dumpster fire. 9 people interviewed. You think anybody's going to do that for a dumpster fire? Tony, what do you think?
I think that there are fans. I mean, Scott G.
Didn't I, Scott?
Scott G's comment just came on there. Then that fans are stupid. I know that's Jesse's general point. But fans make a lot of assumptions based on, and I include myself in this, based on stuff that we don't know. Based on stuff, yeah, exactly. Based on stuff that we don't know. We read certain things in the media, which is probably a fraction of what is actually out there. We're not sitting in these interviews. We're not listening to the coaches who are, talking about, other coaches. We don't know any of this background stuff. We work off the headlines basically. Mm-hmm. So
you're right. I got it.
I don't think it's fair for any of us to be making definitive judgments about anybody at this point. He's going to be a failure. He's going to be an incredible coach. We don't know. No,
we don't. And Jesse, I think he's calling you out. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't give a fuck what Tony has to say. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I promise to not.
No, I get it. It's just, like my whole point is like this is a fucking huge gamble. And to me, I don't understand it. You know what I mean? I don't get why. And you're right. I'm not in the fucking meetings. All I know is they got to make the playoffs next year. If this is DQ's last run as head coach, he's got to make the fucking playoffs. Otherwise, he's going to be gone.
They've got to make the playoffs, or they've got to be right there. It can't be another 5-12 season, or that's it. They've got to be right there, or in the.
Well, now some people
I think it's playoffs or bust. I honestly think it's playoffs or bust.
I've said that myself. Now, some people have said. Now, I'm using the some people have said, but I'll go ahead and call out names. I think George Carmi said he's not necessarily in the hot seat because these hires show that. These hires show confidence that the ownership and the GM behind Dan Quinn say you can go ahead and make these. I hesitate to use the word questionable, but make these risky hires of people with no experience in these positions because you're not in trouble with your job. Your job's not in question. Go ahead, take the chance, take the step.
That's one issue with Josh Harris, and I've mentioned this before.
Is that bad or good?
Well, I'm saying he will let. He's done this with all his professional team. Mm-hmm. He will let the contract go out. What I mean is DQ's last ride is with the fan base. Like the trust of the fan base will be gone, absolutely gone if this doesn't work too.
We're seeing a fraction of the fan base.
But
most there's give a shit except what they're told on fucking WJFK. Or
there's a better than good chance this isn't going to work out. It's the NFL. Most of the time it doesn't work out, but for so many goddamn teams.
Right. And failure is the easiest thing to choose, right?
Then we're going to be sitting with a GM because I think both Peters and Quinn are going to be tied together till the end of their contracts because Harris doesn't like firing coaches and decision makers until their contract is up. He is very, very frugal in that situation, and we're going to end up wasting years. That's my worry. This is my worry is we're going to waste the years of the best quarterback that's walked through those doors since Joe Theismann.
Since Joe Theismann. And by the way, we know that Joe pays attention. Nice to see you, Joe. I hope you have yourself a nice
Scott G had a good point. He says, go listen to the people over in Minnesota. They speak highly of Jones. He was the lead candidate to be DC if Flores left.
Yeah, the guy.
We're not the only. Go ahead. Sorry.
The guy, Keim had the guy from Minnesota on earlier this week, and he said, look, he's not going to be relying on Flores because Flores is his own unique character. But he's very highly regarded. He would have got that DC job in Minnesota, and Flores let him get him. He was essentially Flores' right hand man. So maybe he just needs an opportunity.
Look, I tell you what.
Didn't they say the exact same thing in Dallas about Witt? They didn't want Witt to go.
Maybe, but that was then. You say you can't just say that because that happened. This is going to happen.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Still, it just brings me. I don't know. I thought they could do better.
Well, it's strange.
Could have been a lot of different things. Sorry, Scott. Let me jump in real quick.
You're good.
Because what I saw this week out of fans. Now, fans, as we know, fans are stupid, and they prove it practically weekly. Okay, this week, let's see. Kevin Sheehan brought up that we are maybe possibly cash poor. Now, there's a difference between Kevin Sheehan saying something like that and Grant and Danny pulling up their daily negativity to try to get you to react to it. Kevin Sheehan asks questions that should be answered, and that one was answered rather quickly. I think a good
redaction on that the following day, though, John, as well.
Look, man, there's a reason why Sheehan's been in this town for as long as he has, man. The dude's an institution. I like him.
Yeah.
And
me too.
The fact of the matter is that I've now lost track of what the fuck I was saying.
You're talking about them being cash poor.
That cash poor, not only that, but they were cash poor. Nobody wanted to be here. Nobody wants to be with this dumpster fire, even though we interviewed 9 guys. And there was fans just go berserk over all kinds of stuff. So for me, when it comes to this guy, I want to see what happens with free agency now. I want to see where we go from here with what he's going to do, how he's going to build his staff. There's been a lot of question as to whether Dan Quinn, which everybody seems to think is honestly as bad as the devil right now in terms of how he runs his staff, how he's going to let this happen. What's he got to lose by giving it to this guy? What's he got to lose? I don't see it as the same thing as with what he brought from Dallas. I see this as new ideas, and I see this as new ideas coming from a tree that includes Brian Flores flooding into him how to attack.
What's really interesting with this? Sorry, Tony, you go ahead, mate.
Sorry, I was just saying that fans in general and the media as well, they're such prisoners of the moment.
Right.
This time last year, everybody was singing Quinn's praises. Everybody was singing Peter's praises. All the people that didn't want Quinn appointed because he was just Ron Rivera Mark II. We're all of a sudden we're eating the humble pie, and now this year everybody wants them both out. Now, okay, a lot of things went wrong this year. Some bad decisions may well have been made, but we're talking about. We're talking, and this is I don't want to bring politics into it, but this is just extremes. You're either one, or you're either so far this way, or you're so far that way. Whereas really, the truth is somewhere in the middle, and that's why. That's why, as Jesse said, this third year is going to be pivotal because is it the Quinn Peters from the first year, or is it the Quinn Peters from the second year? We'll find out.
Jesse kind of has a point. Says this is Andy, right? Jesse kind of has a point based on what we have seen this movie a few times now. Okay, have we really though? Have we seen them go ahead? When was the last time that we saw them bring aboard coordinators at this high level of coaching that had no previous experience in those roles?
And the thing with this Daronte Jones hire that I wanted to bring up just then is he's not tied. He's not. No, you're right. He's not tied to come off your point. He's not tied to Quinn or Peters in any way. If you look back at his coaching history of where they've gone, sure, it's a small world. They'll know each other. They'll have mutual friends, whatever. But who's to say that Flores hasn't come in for his interview and gone, I'm not here unless I get a head coaching job, but just to let you know, you need to go and hire my boy.
That's a great point. That's a
Well,
great point.
That was mentioned on a couple of pods, wasn't it, this week? That may have been said, and you're right, Scott. Absolutely.
That's a great.
But he has no previous like ties to this regime, to these two, to the GM, to DQ, nothing. Whereas we look at what we've done in personnel wise on the field, it's almost been a bit like Ron Rivera 2.0. A lot of ex-49ers, a lot of people who they know. Most of the coaching staff that DQ brought in first time round, DQ knows and trusts, and they're all there. And we had this star-studded coaching
that's the way the
staff.
league runs.
Yeah,
of course it is.
That happens. That just happens. I mean, that's just that's a normal
But
thing.
what I'm saying is to go bold.
See that, but
to go so bold and go, well, I don't know who this guy is. We're going to give him a chance at a coordinator level.
Yeah.
Lord, plaudits. You're putting it all on the line. You are putting it all on the line. But as I said, my point still stands. It's got to be about what personnel you get in the building. Otherwise, everyone is destined to fail.
All right. So
one last point on the coaching thing. Man, why couldn't they just wait one more fucking day? Just wait one more day.
The other side of the
just
coin.
fucking like just one more day. Jim, we all saw Jim Schwartz give the middle finger to the Browns, say "fuck you, I'm not here," and then bring Schwartz in and be like, "Hey, associate assistant head coach." That's all I wanted, man. And if you had turned it down, okay, fine. I'd have been happy with Daronte Jones. But one more fucking day, man. That's all we need.
To answer Andy's question there, Jesse, would you have gone with Schwartz? Would that have been your number one target?
Oh, fucking every fucking.
If he was
I think
available,
everybody on this panel would. Everybody on this panel would have fucking went with Schwartz. Everybody who had a brain would have went with Schwartz.
If he was available. However,
if he was available, he wasn't available at that time.
No, he was under contract with the Browns. He's still under contract with the Browns.
He is.
For him to make a lateral move is not going to happen. It was up to the Browns. And here's the thing that kind of makes me laugh about the fans. All right. There's a wonderful scene. I know I'm old, and I'm going to tell people a story about a movie, the old Monty Python Life of Brian, right, where Brian, the savior Brian, is now coming down the stairs, and the guy who's his agent is telling him, everybody, and you people possessed with devils, please stay over there. And all these people are going over. Ah! That's our fan base. You people with devils, stay the fuck over there. Oh my God, we shouldn't hire this guy. We should take our cues from the Browns. We should wait to see what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. Do you people ever stop and listen to yourselves just for a half a second? That's all you needed to say. Let's see what the Browns are going to do.
Interested to know how good Jim Schwartz was.
But Jim Schwartz wasn't available. All right, and
he was.
Hold on a second before you go. Jim Schwartz wasn't available. And a lot of these people that were telling me last week that we weren't going to get a hire because nobody wanted to be here, a lot of the people that we interviewed have been falling as dominoes since we hired Daronte Jones, have been hired.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody with this impatience, this, oh my God, we have to make a move right now. The optics, everything's awful. Relax. We got a good guy here, I think. We got a good guy. And I don't think that there's really anything wrong with taking a chance on somebody who, quote, doesn't know it. None of these people woke up yesterday and said, oh, football? Tony, what do you think?
Absolutely. I stand on my original point that I think, anyone who just dismisses somebody out, and I'm not saying that this is what anyone's doing particularly.
Failure's easy to predict, and they do.
Anyone who's just dismissing this straight away, whether it's Blau or Jones, and saying this is not going to work, end of, that you can't say that. Right. You just can't say that because we don't know, and we've been through the risk, yes, the inexperience, the relative inexperience, yes, all these things are risk factors, but then on the other side of the scales is these guys. What if 12 months time these guys are fantastic?
Exactly.
Now maybe I'm being idealistic, maybe I'm being naive. I quite accept that might be the case. And in 12 months' time, I could be sitting here going, Jesus Christ, what the fuck were they doing with that? But I don't think you can just dismiss it out of hand, particularly when these guys, it seems that with Blau, he has a great relationship with Jaden Daniels.
Exactly.
Everybody that they've spoken to, everyone that's ever been associated with him has said what a cerebral, intelligent, dynamic, designing plays
That's the fat girl.
that he is. And with Jones, everyone who's spoken about him has said, and of course, they're bound to wheel out all the nice things that people have said about him as well. The reality may be completely different. But they're not hiring dummies. They're not hiring guys who are teaching junior varsity.
Exactly. Exactly. Scott, you've been trying to make a point.
Yeah, no, I was just saying to back off Tony there. You could be right, Tony. We could be like, oh my God, this has been a disaster. But in the same breath, 2 years down the line, we could be seeing both coordinators go and become head coaches somewhere else.
Look at the 49ers. Robert Saleh.
That's the other side of the coin. If you bring someone in who is deadly experienced and gets this defense to a standard of what we want it to be, or the offense to a standard of what we want it to be, they're going to get head coaching looks straight away because they're experienced already in the NFL and they get on that carousel. Cliff Kingsbury did it. You know what I mean? He still hasn't got a job, but he's been on that carousel this year. And you just think to yourself, okay, where do you want to be? Do you want a guy as a stopgap for 1 year who is experienced, or do you want to try and take a chance and see where we go? No, we're not going to know. We're not going to know until September, are we? We're going to have no idea. And that's it.
Sorry, do you want to be a year too early or a year too late with these guys?
That's it.
And have them snapped up, because they clearly, there was all this. Oh well, Detroit wanted him. I don't think it was just Detroit that wanted.
No, I don't think so either.
So maybe they've gone a year early on him. Maybe.
And Daronte Jones had 5 interviews, so it's not as if he wasn't wanted either.
Right. So Jesse, I'm going to throw this at you because you've been the detractor so far on Daronte Jones. The fact that his boss interview. You're going to throw me off again. Jesse. There you go.
Hey, puppy. Hey, puppy.
All right.
You've heard that a few times, Jesse.
Thank you again, Andy.
Who's your daddy?
Again. Let's see. What the hell? You know what? I don't even remember what the fuck.
Andy's got a bit of doing that.
Or is he just derailing the whole show?
Award or something. I'm telling you, it was worthwhile.
Order.
You were talking about something. I can't even remember what it was, but we'll just go ahead and move on. Cliff hasn't gotten any looks. What's up with that?
He has. He's had interviews, but he hasn't had.
Yeah, he's had interviews.
He's had Baltimore, the Bills, the who else do you have an interview with? Giants, Packers,
Raiders. Yeah.
I
think he's just looking at his options right now.
Yeah,
really, because he doesn't even need to work. He's getting paid by 2 fucking teams this year. He doesn't need to work.
Yeah, he's getting paid by the Cardinals. I don't know if he's still getting paid by us, but at the same time,
Tennessee. Thank you, Scott.
Cardinals can't get anybody else. They might as well just give Cliff his old job back if they're still paying him. Anyway.
Did you see they interviewed Ron Rivera for the head coaching job?
Yeah.
I did see that. Now, some people would say,
wow,
that, Ron is a very respected person in the NFL.
Thanks, Ron.
I would say that when you look at it from the outside, all right, those of you that are making reasoning for why Ron's getting still interviewed, look at the Cardinals. That's what we used to look like. Ron Rivera, the Bidwells are trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah, Bidwells are a trash organization, or they're trash owners.
Look who's still trying to find a coach, right? So and they're all picking. Right
the Cardinals and the Raiders are the 2 teams that left. And that's not a coincidence. Although apparently they're supposed to be in a duel to the death over Clint Kubiak, aren't they? Is what I heard today.
I mean, that's quite possible. The worst teams are always looking to try to get better in a hurry. Let's see. Andy says, Jesus, if I lost my job to Ron Rivera, I'd be pissed. Well, that's true.
I would be too, because Ron Rivera's never delivered beer.
That's very true. We don't know that. We don't.
Well, as far as
I'm sure it'd be an amazing trainman. Yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
Oh my God. Congratulations on that.
Sorry, Boris.
All right,
that was good.
So, yes, it is. It's going to bring us to a nice segue. Our good boy Scott here, seen as the sexy man. Are you up for it, Scott? the list of the year. You've been dying to present this to us. We've been talking about, we've got new coaches. All right. There's Daronte Jones. There's still talk as to whether or not he's going to be allowed to fill out his own defensive coaching staff, how it's going to turn out. Let's see your ideas and your list of free agents, and let's start to talk about some of this stuff.
Do you want to talk about you want to talk about our cap situation before we go on to the list? Because I think it coincides.
Going out today between 301 and 305 is what everybody's expecting.
Yeah, the cap's going up to 305, isn't it, at the moment? So
max 305.
Yeah. So Spot Track at the moment has us. I mean, and this is actually going off 305. So this is kind of where I've managed ourselves from. Effective cap space for currently for the 51. That's committed for cap space, we would have $65 million right now. A few cuts here and there, 18 from Marshawn Lattimore,
right,
and a few other bits and bobs. You can get yourself to nearly 100 million. Algretti's one that you save yourself $6 million. There's a few others. You could probably look at Daron Payne's contract as well, somewhere along the line. But I have heard, obviously, through the press this week that they're not necessarily looking at that. But that is a real high cap number. But anyway, the list of the week of is 28 million, John. Yeah, it's massive.
Well, I mean, that's 9% of the overall cap.
For one defensive tackle who's going into a final year of a contract, I'd be looking to try and work what I can there.
I mean, okay, so the idea of being able to renegotiate something is usually just pushing cap down the road.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, all right, so in this respect, if we were to cut Daron Payne, we take an 11
taking 11 million dead cap, yeah. But at the same time, we have the less.
Yeah,
not
but
necessarily.
We'll move up in cap space.
Yes, that's what I mean. So effective cap space, we're saving 12 million.
Yeah,
12.
Well, what do we get for it?
Well, that's what I mean. But
the quality defensive tackle.
I'm not saying to cut Daron Payne, but at the same time, I'm looking at that and saying that is a contract that I will be looking at right now and saying, right, where are we? One thing we do have that's good is we are second in cap space effectively. For dead money, we have the least dead money in the entire league. It's $257,000, and then you compare that to say the Jets. They've got 75 million. It's massive in that respect. So dead money wise, it's not going to hurt us going down the road if you were to push things further down the road. But yeah, my list of free agents and what we'd look at. I mean, I've played GM.
To Scott's point on Daron Payne, one more point on Daron Payne.
Mm-hmm.
They have to rework that contract.
Absolutely.
There is no way that they don't rework that. If they want to keep him, we ain't keeping him at $28 million in the cap this year. Fuck that shit.
That would make him the second highest DT in the entire league.
How long are you willing to extend him?
2 years. 2 year, $40 million deal is what I've got him as. So I can go through it here. This is my off-season moves. If I was the GM and everything was amazing and I could do whatever I wanted to, it would be awesome. But I want some of these names, definitely, if we can get him. So my first name on the list is Tariq Woolen, cornerback from the Seahawks. Now, I have looked at market value rates, and I've gone with exactly what I think we should be paying them. Not a finger in the dark, let's get everyone here. I've actually gone off what he should technically get paid. So 15 a year, 4 year, $60 million deal. Kaiir Elam is a cornerback that I'd be looking at from the Titans as a bit of cover. A more experienced head, older. Well, he's still not old, but he's only 26. But he's been in the league a fair amount of time, and he's decent enough if you want a backup there. So that fills out the cornerback room. They're both young, and Elam will be cheap.
26 might be older.
No, I mean like in respect of
how many years has he got in?
I think he's been in the league 5 years now. So
it seems like Elam's been in the league a long time.
It might have been. Devin Lloyd is definitely a middle linebacker I'd like to look at. Replacement for Bobby Wagner from Jacksonville. I don't think we'll actually get him. I don't think he hits free agency. That will be a 3 year, $54 million deal, 18 per year. Quay Walker is probably where we realistically should end up. Obviously, from outside linebacker from Green Bay, he would be our Luvu replacement. 2 years, $12 million. Malcolm Kuntz is someone who's an up-and-coming edge rusher who I think can fill out our room. if we pick at 7 with an edge rusher. Now, Kuntz is ascending at the Raiders. He isn't going to cost you the earth. You're looking at a 3-year, a 57 mil deal, 19 a year for edge rushers. That's about 15th, 16th. But he would be probably edge rush 3 if your draft pick works out. 10.5 sacks last year. Brilliant. Good, really good player.
All right, hold on. Breathe.
Breathe.
Sorry, I had to give that to everybody right there because this is a lot to absorb.
Yeah.
It really is.
If
this
you
is our
can't,
first look at it, and I mean, I promised that one in the I guess in the opener. This is our first look, and Scott's going to give it to you raw and unfiltered. Do it. Go ahead.
If you can't get Malcolm Kuntz, the next person. If you can't get Malcolm Kuntz, because I would bolster it out of the draft with edge, the next person I'd be looking at is Joseph Asai from Cincinnati. He can play inside and he can play on the edge. He had 6 sacks this year, 3 forced fumbles, 3 year. You're looking at about 14 mil a year for him. Alec Pierce is the next. Is the next one off the list. I think he is an absolute wide receiver 2, if not ascending to wide receiver 1.
October.
Oh, since day 1. Proper number 2. Do you really think? I think he is, because Indy's cap space isn't the best, and they have to re-sign Daniel Jones or do something at quarterback.
How reasonable is it to look at Romeo Doubs? I see Romeo Doubs more on the inside.
I would say so.
He's more of a slot guy, but he's so versatile.
So that's going to cost you a lot of money. That's going to cost you a lot of money. Alec Pierce is like, you're probably looking at 19 a year, 57 mil, thereabouts, maybe more. Probably, if you end up in a bidding war, people might end up even paying him something like 25 a year. Seriously, though, that's probably out of our range.
Just from the perspective of the fans are stupid. The money doesn't mean fuck all. All right, it's a stroke of a pen.
It really
is. Mm-hmm. It really is. What I want to know is how much are you paying them up front? What's the signing bonus?
That's it. That's what everyone wants to know. But
money. That's where the cap hit comes from, because the way that they write these contracts and backload everything, by the time they get to the majority of the money, we're like talking about them like Daron Payne right now.
I've only got a few more. I've only got 3 more. So my 3 more is Isaiah Likely from tight end from Baltimore. I think we have to have some sort of tight end in there that's going to take off and replace Zach Ertz.
Now, we need another.
I know you like Kyle
tight end. We need another pass catching tight end. I would love, the 13 personnel having 2 good pass catching tight ends with Bates as our blocking tight end, because I think
Are we out on the current set of tight ends then?
No. Well, no, we're not.
We're not out on Sennett. No, but we do need another tight end. We do need another. Like Sennett is there. I think he proved that he's ascending, and he proved that towards the end of the season. Even though he didn't get a whole bunch of targets thrown his way, he did a lot of good things at the end of the season. So I think next year. You're really going to see an uptick, but I do agree that we do need to bring another tight end in, because I don't know.
Real quick, Tony. First off, do you agree with what he's saying up there, Jesse? And number 2, with the way he's moving his hand in front of that lower level light, does it kind of look like the Matrix?
Jeez, where to go first? I think we definitely do need another tight end. I suspect that the Falcons will probably find a way of.
I mean, are you looking to upgrade that expensively?
No, I wouldn't. No, I don't think Pitts. No, I don't think we'll get Pitts anyway, because I think the Falcons will re-sign him. Okay. Likely is likely to cost a good amount, but not obscene money.
9 mil a year.
Yeah, I think that's affordable. We certainly need somebody in there. I like a lot of the names that Scott said there. I mean, Quay Walker was one that I had to look at already.
Chigga Conquo. That's who this gentleman's talking about as well.
That's a hell of a name for a tight end right there.
Big Chig. I like, Jalen Phillips from Philly.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips. Well, that's another person I was going to think about. And then my other 2 that are odd, but you might not think about this, is Will Clapp. I want him as a guard stroke center, just as a bit of backup. He's going to cost you absolutely nothing. You
don't want the Clapp, man.
No, we do, because I want to have someone called Will Clapp and Yankoff on the same team. That'd be pretty cool. And then my biggest. My biggest day one signing of the entire free agency would be Breece Hall. I want Breece Hall, but the running backs that are out there at the minute, you've got.
What are you paying him? What are you paying him?
3 year, 28, just over 9 a year.
Well, okay, let's see what happens in the Super Bowl, because that number could change based on what.
So you've got Kenneth Walker, you've got Travis Etienne, and you've got Breece Hall, the top 3 running backs in this free agency. For running backs in free agency, it's all right. That's why me and you had a disagreement yesterday, Jesse, about Love. Drafting him. I get it. I completely understand where you're coming from. I just don't think that is the most draft needy position. I know you never draft for need, but we're
fucking
not for. I mean, as in like not in the best player 10. Available. We are desperate. We are desperate for edge.
Now listen. When we're moving on from free agency, a lot of this draft is going to. What we do in the draft is going to coincide with what we do in free agency.
Of course.
And my point is, what if your Reese, your Bailey, your was it Bain, or the other edge is gone? What do you do? Try to trade back? What if you can't find a partner? Fucking draft the best goddamn player available.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the
we
best
need
player
blue chip
available
players.
is the quarterback, are you going to take him? No, you're not.
We
need
that's the problem. That's the problem, and that's the reason why we're not going to have trade back partners, most likely.
I don't think so, yeah.
Because of the fact this is a weak class, guys. It's another thing. Teams are not going to want to throw value by trading up in the fucking in a top 10 when there's no quarterbacks to be taken. Like, okay, but we're not thinking about that.
Well, of course we are, because the fact you're right. The quarterbacks, and one of them has decided not to come out and whatever. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But you're right. It is a weak class when it comes to quarterbacks. But when you're picking in the top 10, a trade partner, when it comes to, if you can't find a trade partner, picking best player available it's too much of a blanket statement. Need always factors into what that best player is. And like I said, with this year, and you're right that the quarterback class is light. What if we're at 7 and the best player available is the quarterback? We're not taking him. We don't want him. We don't need him. So it's all up to what we think we need at the time and the best player that fits that availability.
All right.
We've got a lot of options. We've got a lot of options.
All of them.
It's got to be a blue chip. And my point is whatever it is, it has to be a blue chip player. We have
at 7.
There could be a few at 7. But you're not going to take, because you need an edge rusher, the next best edge rusher that's ranked 21st out of everybody. You're not going to fucking do that. You're not going to take.
What if we pick up an edge rusher in free agency? So, like you said,
that's what I mean. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But if you're in a position, and like running back is a fucking need, so let's get that out of the way. And your Bane is gone. Just let's say just for Scotty's sake, Downs is gone. Reese is gone. What do you do at 7? What are you going to do? You're going to take
Bailey.
There you go.
What if they're gone? That's what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
If they're gone?
You always make contingency plans for what if they're gone, but we've only got 6 people that we have to think of in that regard. That's it.
One of them is no doubt taking Fernando Mendoza. So you're down to 5. Is someone taking the top offensive tackle off the board?
And we don't need tackle.
That's what I'm saying.
Predict.
So what I'm saying above you is
you're not going to take. Yeah, you're not going to take. My only point is, people are throwing Love out like it's not an option. It absolutely is a fucking option.
Well, okay, everything's on the table at this moment.
He's projected to be better than the NFL comp is Bijan Robinson, but he's got the speed of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a very good player.
We in the top 7, what I would be happy with is an edge rusher, a wide receiver, a cornerback, or a running back. Any of those four, even a defensive lineman, if they feel like a defensive lineman, it would be a blue chip. I'd be perfectly fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. Downs, fucking stop talking about Downs.
I love him.
Draft a safety in the top 10.
This is why? Why don't you draft a top?
Why are you trying to draft
He's
best player in the
Sean
draft.
Taylor.
He's the best player in the draft.
The safety position, okay. It's not an important impact position.
No. I disagree completely.
Well, you can disagree all you want. It's not. It is fucking not. It is not.
Tony,
it's not an impact position. It's not a position that teams pick in the top 10. They don't do it because the value is just not there.
We've done it ourselves, for Pete's sake.
Okay, but this dude ain't Sean Taylor. He ain't nowhere close to Sean. He's not even a Kyle. He's not even a Kyle Hamilton.
So you're doing exactly what I mentioned yesterday.
Nobody are those people. But if you don't, I'm not even saying who I even think we want to draft yet, because I 100% agree with what we said at the outset of this part of the discussion, which is free agency is going to decide everything. And right now, Daronte Jones is just getting his desk drawers organized. So he's going to decide what it is what we need to do. So here's my question, because Tony, you've been silent for so long. I'm going to throw this. This is a big softball, gigantic, whichever way you want to hit it question. Offense or defense? Where do you want to go with pick 7?
I think they have to go defense. I think, as much as I understand the game changer that Love could be argument, if the defense remains as bad as it is and you're chasing the game the whole time, I'm not sure that a running back is the guy you want there anyway. Look, as far as I can tell, as you said, there's a whole process here. We're still quite early in the draft cycle. The early mock drafts are coming out. They're all over the board, as you would expect. There seem to be a couple of offensive linemen seem to be popular going in the first 3 picks. Fano and Mauiga, a couple of receivers. But again, it's early days yet in that whole process. Free agency is going to dictate a lot, as you said already. How much of the checkbook are they going to open up? Who they're going to sign? What does that mean for the draft? But when it's all said and done, at number 7, and Jesse's right in the sense that if like say Bailey and Bain have gone, and the next edge on their board is their 25th ranked player, as much as you're not going to reach that far. You're gonna say, right, okay, well, Sonny Styles, say for example, is the next player on our board. You absolutely take him. I watched about an hour of his tape yesterday. My God, that guy can run, hit, tackle, move, cover. And I know again that linebacker like safety isn't a premium position, especially off the ball linebackers, and that picking an off the ball linebacker at 7. But and I know we're talking about wild comparisons here, but I've seen in multiple places people have said Fred Warner. Now, if somebody offered you Fred Warner, would you take Fred Warner?
100%.
I think I would. So I'm not opposed to taking an off-the-ball linebacker at 7 if he's as good as this guy is supposed to be. However, my preference would be probably Bailey first, Bain second, and then see where we are if those guys are off the board. And if those guys are off the board, Reese is off the board.
My preference is defense as well. Absolutely. I mean, I want our defense fixed, but I also want whatever that position to be. Whoever we pick at 7. It's got to. We got to hit on it, and we got to, just because of the lack of blue chip players that we have. I mean, you could say maybe JD is one. Tunsil was a blue chip at one time. That's all we have. That's all we have.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need some serious.
We need to knock it out of the park.
There's potential. All right, for one, I know, Jesse, you're going to frown and you're going to bitch and you're going to moan, but Terry McLaurin is a blue chip player.
No, he's not. Stop it. Stop. That's ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous thing that's ever come out of your mouth.
And there's a lot of competition there.
JD5 is a blue chip player. Look, is it not possible that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt could be a blue chip player? We don't want to write people off after a single season, right? Is it possible that we've got guys that are in development that could be blue chip players? I would also present Chris Paul, okay? Laramie Tunsil, whether you say he
don't tell that to scouts. He hates Chris Paul.
You got to re-sign Chris Paul first.
Look,
Yeah, so back to
he tries to say Chris Paul.
back to the re-signings and all that sort of stuff. After all of that, I signed Tunsil as well to a 3-year, $87 million extension, highest paid left tackle in the game. Signing bonus is $17 million against the cap, but it saves $8 million against this year's cap. Payne to a 2-year deal, $40 million, $16 million against this year's cap, but a $6 million saving. Debo brought him back as well, $25 million, 2-year deal, fully guaranteed. Marcus, fully guaranteed deal, $18 million. Chris Paul, 2-year, $15 million, which is about right, 7.5 a year. Cut Lattimore, saving 18.5. Re-signed Tress, Wise, Wiley, C-Rod, and J-Mac. And you're looking very, very good. And it's still, at the end of all of that, we would still have $38 million in cap space. Just make me the GM now. Make me the GM now.
Finger on the place in his list where we broke him off.
Oh,
there.
yeah, 100%.
Now, you said Mariota.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he stays. I don't know if he stays because of Cliff.
Does that matter as much?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to be one of the better backup quarterbacks, whatever system you play. But obviously, he was he was most suited to Cliff's offense. Now,
would he possibly get some starter looks?
Maybe certain aspects of the Cliff offense may, be incorporated into what.
Depends on where Cliff goes.
Your man Blau's thinking. So, and hopefully, and I say this with all respect to Mariota, we never see him again on the field.
Yeah,
agreed.
You're right. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're about an hour into the show here. We've had an excellent discussion over our defensive and offensive coordinators, what it might mean for the future. I want to jump into a couple of different things here. Real quick, I want to show you a couple of videos. This is how I watch football. All right. For one, listen to Tony Romo here. This is some fucking high class analysis.
So when two people slip, you'll see Stevenson first. You go ahead and slip. Now, Drake, you slip. There you go. That's when you know the conditions are tough.
There you go, ladies.
No shit, Sherlock.
That's how you know when it's bad. All right, so, okay, we're going to bust into some talk about these championship games. Look, man, I'm talking to you, Kurt Warner, because I know you're paying attention right now. All right, you're sitting right next to your wife with her big, giant, overinflated, surgically implanted breasts, and you're listening to this podcast. And I'm telling you, when you talk to me about, everything should be in a dome, these teams should all have to play with equal opportunity because the field shouldn't make any difference. Look, man, the third quarter in that football game in Denver was amazing. It went from a bare field to completely snow-covered like that. That's the essence of football to me. That to me is the teams that are going to decide it. You want to talk to me about how it's not going to be decided by the best talent. Yes, it is. The best talent has to face the elements. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It does have to. The best talent does have to face the elements. I did enjoy the game, even though it went like I thought. The snow game's great. It's having Patriots in white uniforms in the snow. Why?
Brilliant.
Boy, you couldn't see him there for a while there. That was true.
Imagine all the cheating they were doing when you couldn't see him.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we'll talk about Bill Belichick in a minute, I suppose. Yeah, but
we'll get to that in a minute. All right. So this was
Bill was there. Yeah.
This is something else I noticed. Just talking about the championship games. Look, sometimes the cameras catch things that the NFL doesn't want you to see. All right. Now we had these discrepancies in the Bills game with the what's a catch, and we had the discrepancy in the Rams game and what's a catch. But now watch this.
Makes the play. The Seahawks deny the Rams, and they get it back with 4:54 to go in the lead.
Now, did you see what I saw?
The eyes.
Cameraman.
The NFL. Look at this guy. I don't know what it is, man. NFL Films, that's why they hire these people. This is how they catch
Mike McCarthy
things. Yeah, no kidding, Mike McCarthy. But that's how they catch the most amazing things, because he can watch the camera and Sean McVay all at the same time. I'm sorry, that's insane.
That's like a bad Bond villain.
Dude, no kidding. That gives me a headache just looking at it. I don't know how you're able to do that. All right, so what did you think of those games? What do you think of what transpired in the AFC and NFC championship games? I'm rather happy.
Well, I'm like, I think it's gonna be a boring Super Bowl, but I think the fact that I disagree a little bit with the elements. I know it's kind of go back to the old school, but if it was. That game cost me some money because I had some really good parlays in that fucking game.
Here we go.
We lost by a half a yard. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's fucking the goddamn snow fucking slipped me up and cost me some fucking money. So dome everything, goddammit. Dome fucking everything.
I don't think it would have made any difference. They didn't give him the ball. We only needed a half a yard, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And they wouldn't give him the ball.
Let me give you some crisp to go with that bitter.
To watch. When you've got a running back that needs a half a yard and they're down by 12 points, and you're like, fuck, there's 3 minutes to go. They're never going to get the ball. That's what sucks. So what do you think of the Super Bowl? Tony, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, I think the Seahawks are the overwhelming favorites. Darnold was meant to be the weak link, and yet he probably had the best game of his career, or certainly one of this week. Mm-hmm. There's the feeling that the NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl. We're back to those sort of Cowboys 49ers early mid-90s games where you kind of knew that whichever one of them won the Super Bowl won the NFC Championship game was going to win. I'm not sure it's quite that cut and dried, because I think the Patriots have obviously had this a bit like we did last year, this magical season where everything's gone right for them. Now that's a subject for another day, is which one of the Broncos, Patriots, and Bears are going to fall off a cliff next season.
All right, so Jesse, the Patriots have been accused of having a very easy schedule. What do you think of this notion?
Well, I mean, you play who you play on your schedule. So, I mean, you could say it's easy. I think it's going to be tough sledding for them in this game. I think the Seahawks are just too powerful on both sides of the ball, and I quite think it's going to be a lopsided affair, to be honest with you.
Scott, all right. So Scott, do you think that the cross-dressing LBGQT halftime show is going to help you get any pussy this weekend or next weekend?
I won't be watching the halftime show, that's for sure. All right, it's half an hour to have a sleep.
All right, so quick question then: does anybody give a fuck who's playing at halftime? Jesse, we'll start with you.
Not at all.
No,
not
you.
It depends who it is. If it like if it was the one in California when he had Dr. Dre and stuff, that was pretty cool. Prince was amazing back in the day, obviously. There's been a few that have been really good, but
give me some rock and roll bands, man. I'm tired of this.
The thing is this. Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, no, my big buddy from Texas is absolutely raging about the fact that is it AC/DC? Which of the big metal bands is from San Francisco area?
AC/DC is half dead now, right? This is the and the Grateful Dead. They're all dead.
Whichever one of the big. I'm not a big metal fan, so whichever one of the big metal bands is from the Bay Area, he was raging that they were not playing the Super Bowl, and I was like, yeah, but you kind of we're not the demographic. We're not the demographic that they're targeting, really.
It used to be. It used to be.
Well, yeah, but you got old. Welcome to it, buddy. Now you're starting to figure it out.
At least it's not Maroon 5, I suppose. I mean, that's one.
Yeah, thank you for that. But now everybody's God damn it!
Now,
Why aren't they playing music that way?
if a titty pops out, like that happened before, then I would definitely be interested in watching.
That titty was kind of nasty. That was a fried egg titty. I didn't care for it. Here's the thing. When you talk about the Super Bowl halftime show, all of you people that are bitching and crying and complaining, you got to think about it in this regard. Oh, they've gone woke. The NFL is a product. They're trying to sell it. All right. And if what they're trying to do is sell it to this market, what they're trying to sell is, hey, all of you LGBT, hey, all of you fags, watch these guys beat their brains out. Stop it with all this bullshit about it's woke. It's the NFL, for fuck's sake. We're watching people get CTE.
Metallica. Here we go. Metallica, formed in LA, but became the defining band of the Bay Area scene.
AC/DC is from UK, I believe.
They're from
Australia. He said Metallica. But yeah, look, I couldn't really care less. I'll be at the bar at halftime anyway, so.
UK was from Australia. The thing about it is this. They're just looking for audience. And the audience that they're looking for is going to watch the same thing that you are. Who gives a fuck about anything else? I think it's funny as shit that today we have all kinds of outrage over the NFL's kindness officer for the Super Bowl. Scott, have you read about this?
No.
The kindness officer apparently has a record in the past. How about you, Tony? You read about this? Do you know who the kindness officer is?
Not at all. No, I have no idea.
No? How about you, Jesse? You read about the kindness officer today?
I have no idea. No.
Okay, so all you people that are making a bunch of shit about it, understand this. Nobody gives a fuck. Ugh! It's just a daily outrage. It's the kindness officer. He's some guy who has a name that has too many vowels in it, as far as I'm concerned. And, apparently he has a record in the past, and he's not going to affect your life in any one way but whatsoever, including the way Bad Bunny won't affect your life in any one way bit whatsoever.
I can promise you I will not be watching Bad Bunny.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do? I'll sit here and I'll go up and I'll take a piss and I'll come back and I'll sit down and I'll listen to whatever he has to do and I'll watch it, and if it isn't any good, I won't give a fuck, and I'll look on the computer at all the people bitching about Bad Bunny. Okay.
I'll also be
while he's in the chat, who the fuck is this fucking idiot fucking on the goddamn fucking stage?
Let's see. AC/DC Australia. Well, we know Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting my bands mixed up there, Paul. Sorry, I'm not a big metal fan, so it was Metallica.
All right, let's see. Marigretti says
what the
you have
fuck?
to re-sign Moody Mariota. Now, I think we were talking about bands, so this will have to be the Moody Blues. Are we re-signing the Moody Blues to play at the Super Bowl?
I don't know about re-signing Moody. I think I might try to look for someone better than Moody.
Moody Mariota. We were asking about this a little while ago, Garrett. I wonder how much, because a month ago, we were all pretty happy with him in terms of how he fits Cliff, and that he would certainly be re-signed, but I'm not so sure anymore. What about y'all?
Yeah, I
don't know. It just depends on what somebody offers him,
All right, Levi X3. Anybody else wants to read his name is fine. It says "Go Cowboys." And we put that up just because we're talking about the LGBTQ community, and we wanted to be making give everybody equal time. So thank you, Levi, for stopping by.
He says "Go Cowboys." I mean, the Cowboys have gone, haven't they? As far as I know.
Yeah.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, I was on the couch.
Just right there with
Cowboys always go at the end of December, first week in January, don't they? Generally.
Right. Let me tell you something. I don't care if he wears a goddamn pair of panties. If he's out there making money for Jerry, we'll have him on the goddamn stage at the opening day of the Cowboys season. That's all there is to it. Put on the thong, sing in Spanish. It don't matter to me. Cockfighting on the mezzanine at 3:00. Everybody, put your bets in now. Right.
Good old Jerry.
Thank you, Levi. I'm glad you get the joke. We're having a lot of fun here. All right. So anyway, Super Bowl predictions real quick before we get any further into this show.
Well, hold on. Hold on.
Paul is right. Brian Johnson is a Geordie. Yeah, he is a Geordie. Absolutely.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Hold on a second.
I got my Brian Johnson hat.
Big news out today. Is it Steve or George Tisch co-owner of
No, he got
the New York Giants co-owner, has been outed majorly in the Epstein files, big time. So, fuck you, Giants.
Yeah, fuck you, the New York Giants. Listen, Lawrence Taylor, Lawrence Tisch, put it together. They're both fucking kids, and I'm not going to go any further. You can sue Tony all you want. All right, we're just kidding, of course. Levi says the Seahawks are winning it. I'm going to agree with Tony or with Levi. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Don't disagree.
Tony, Scott, you're disagreeing. Why is that?
No, Sam, don't disagree. I think Seahawks do. I think Seahawks do win it. Yeah, Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you've put block pictures of him on for years on this podcast.
With cinder blocks as his head. Look, all of you people out there that want to write people off after a half a season of look at Sam Darnold and check yourself.
Did you know that Sam Darnold's grandfather was the Marlboro Man?
The who?
Wow.
Really, was he?
The
Marlboro Man?
famous Marlboro Man in the advert. I read somewhere today that that's Sam Darnold's granddad, apparently.
Shit.
No shit. You know, the Marlboro Man apparently is responsible for like 80% of the gay population in the United States.
Oh, really?
And you would know that. Why?
Well, because my grandfather told me one day he had a lot of people that came into.
That's absolute bullshit. You love cottaging, John. Just admit it. It's fine.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Seahawks.
Join us live in 10 minutes for the After Dark podcast. Yeah.
That's right. The After Dark one. The BBP coming up later.
Dark web.
After later.
Oh, no, don't go there. We'll be off air. You just get up the street.
If anybody cares, I got a score prediction: 36-22 Seahawks.
All right, we'll get to.
And you said it was a boring Super Bowl?
Next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to get Friday afternoon. We're going to get into.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We'll talk about what's going to happen. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more news and all kinds of crap for everybody to be bitching about, by next Friday. Tony, hope you can join us. If not, I understand completely. You have family coming in from all over the place. You're flying all over the globe. You're an important person. We understand that. We respect that. Hey, look, I've had a hell of a fun season. I think next year we're going to rebrand this as BBP. The BBP. That's the way I see it. Until then, we'll see y'all on Friday. Everybody have a good time. Be careful.
See you later, guys.
Later.